We'll do a roll call.
If you can call to order again.
Oh, let's call to order at 6:30, 45 seconds. You don't have to. Okay, this is the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting for March 18th. I don't think we have to do, unless I guess we should do.
Yeah,
a live
I would
stream.
just do a roll
Okay.
call.
I'm Adriana Arrington Kalk. I'm the chair.
Nicole Schreiner.
Steve Doffin.
Are there any citizens' comments? For number 4, approval of the minutes from February 18th.
Make a motion to accept the minutes for February the 18th.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We don't have any presentations, so we'll do 6A, discussion and appropriate action on the results of the capital improvement plan funding for recommended parks projects. And I have given y'all a handout, this little table that we worked on last summer when we were trying to prioritize everything from the master plan that we thought was important. And this is what we also gave when Jonah went and presented, basically, his is a lot more fancy, in January for the planning meeting with council.
Yes.
So if you can remind us what was actually approved.
Yes.
And maybe we can reshuffle these or think about it and bring it back to make an updated version of this that has like for 2026 and see kind of what is kind of, I guess everything's like important, but you have things that are actually now going to be funded. So it's
Correct.
not as,
Correct. Yeah.
a lot of things weren't even funded last year.
That's correct. So in that, some of the items that I brought before prior to bringing to council did not get put into CIP. And I think a lot of it just has to do with they could most likely be absorbed in my yearly maintenance budget for certain projects and departments. So the 3 main projects that council approved for CIP was going to be the Lions Park accessibility playground and swing set. Then there was also going to be the parking lot or lots installation at Regional Park. And then also a pool and restroom building at the pool. So the pool and restroom building, they approved $205,000. Parking lots, they approved $200,000. And then the grant for Lions Park, I think it was like 400. It was 469 and change, $469,000 and change. For example, some of the items that I had brought to CIP or whenever I was planning CIP, that I didn't think needed to come to council for a CIP are going to include like raw materials for the park. So crushed granite, mulch, engineered wood fiber for some of our playgrounds, pea gravel, stuff like that. I don't think really is necessarily a CIP budget item, but more of a maintenance budget. So that's where during my report, I'll give that update on our budget planning season and make sure that we try to account for some of those items. In addition to that, a cover for the pool heaters was also going to be NCIP, but I think something similar or something small like that can be put into the pool's maintenance budget and not necessarily a CIP project.
So yeah, if we could recategorize this stuff, and if it's going to be in your budget, and it's not like, if it's like a small remodeling job or something, then we can like just let you have it.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So I think I would like to see a revised project list, and then I think we need to revise it. Don't take anything off, even though they recommended or had approved those projects. Let's not take it off until the project's completed. So then that way we can also mark that they're completed and when they were completed.
Okay. Did you want, do we need to specify how much shade for Lions Park then? Because we have a generic shade and we have money to buy one small structure, I guess we had talked about by the splash pad, but do you want to specify more for later?
I would say let's start off small and then work our way up depending on, because if the playground has shade and the swings have incorporated shade,
Okay.
with the other shade structure that we're looking at putting close to the playground, I think really the other structure that I think would go well would be a pavilion of some sort at Lions Park. Now, if we're looking at just maybe smaller shade structures, where are we going to put those, and where would future planning, would that affect future planning down the road? So I don't want to put too much stuff out there if we do have those future projects coming in.
Okay, so I guess we just need to figure out, and I know it's kind of in flux until you get the playground in
Mhm.
there and see how the softball field kind of, if we ever change that boundary like we talked about,
Mhm.
and how that would affect. So you keep it like a generic shade.
I would just, yes, I would, because there's no telling what's going to happen, if we were to put that multi-purpose court down, or if we were to adjust the softball field and the trails. I think there's never going to be too much shade. So plus the trees are going to, once
But
they
once
grow
you
and
pick
mature.
a space, you can't move it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, and I missed the first part. Is the softball field, was that part of maintenance now, or is that a CIP thing for updating the fence?
It's going to be a maintenance. It'll be a maintenance.
I missed that, sorry.
That, or depending on what it is that we do, we could do it as maintenance. If we decide to push the fence back or adjust it, then it might have to be a CIP depending on what that
So
cost
that
would
one's
be.
not particularly funded right now.
Correct.
Sure, I had other questions. I could update this with notes from Jonah, and then we could, and then Ally might have some feedback too on just making it new for the year and make sure it's the way we want it categorized. And I know the Friends group probably will be more on top with the landscaping for the community center. That was the other thing. And then
Yes.
with
think it
the
will.
the dams and the ponds being changed, I assume that Patrick's probably.
Well, Jonah knows more about that than the regular group does.
Yeah. I would
Did you
probably
want-
lean on
are you
Public
okay?
Works on that. I know they had a meeting the other day.
Well, like any sort of efforts to, I know it's going to take a while to fill in, but erosion efforts to control erosion and that sort of thing probably be more like something Patrick's working on, I imagine. Not that I want to sign up. for that.
he may. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I know that the utility fund had not had their CIP project meeting yet, so it could be coming up. So we may get
That's
answers in the
still
future.
just something we have to keep an eye on.
Mhm.
Did you have anything else, or are you note taking mode? Okay. All right. Well, I can bring this back with updates on
I think
a
that's a
later
good
meeting.
idea.
So. All right. So, and I think maybe you probably have more input on 6B, discussion and appropriate action on shower and restroom building specifications for the swimming pool at the regional park.
Yes. So
So we gave a rough sketch, and basically we were just trying to say like we would like it bigger, the Parks Board, in order to help have more events there and facilitate like more people using the space.
mhm.
I know Bob Lee had some feedback.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of an interesting task from council. They would like to see a comparison of both the original LPA building and then also the updated floor plan that the Parks Board liked. Whenever I went out there, I think it was 2 meetings ago now, we had discussed what the final floor plan, if we had to nix something, what were we going to nix from the plan? So in doing so, I did nix one of the sinks and toilets and then the showers on the right hand side. And then I also flipped it to where the showers are all on one side and the toilets and family restroom are on the other side. That new floor plan, which was going to be 2 regular sinks and toilets, 1 family sink toilet shower combo, 3 closed or behind doors shower changing rooms, and then the 2 outdoor showers. That was approximately 50 by 10 feet. That structure, that building. The building that LPA had scoped was about 48 by 8, 48 by 10. So it was very similar in size. And I think we got a little bit more, I guess, sinks or toilets than we did with the original building. So I did meet LPA out there yesterday. They're going to work on the updated plan and see what that design estimate is going to be. And then also going back to Frontera, I sent them that revised floor plan and said, hey, council approved this budget. What can you guys give us with this updated floor plan? Can we meet that budgetary constraint if we were to build this? And they said, yes, absolutely. It might not be the same materials that LPA had put in their design and plans, which included stucco, CMU blocks, a gabled roof, all that, everything in there. But it included a I think it was a manufactured, engineered, whatever, basically a metal building. Okay. And we would do some type of rock on the outside to make it look or match what's already there. It would have a single slope or a lean-to roof, something simple but very functional, because that's what we're looking at. Council, again, wanted a comparison of both to see what the design and the build costs were going to be for both. But then they also, councilmanly, wanted to make sure that we included or looked at the option to have some type of mechanical or utility room that would have water heaters for the sinks and the showers, and then also to store all of the cleaning equipment for that building. It's a great idea. I know this building back over here, this restroom, they have on-demand water heaters, so they just sit underneath the sink. So that might be an option, just because we're kind of constrained on that space there, and I don't really want to add or specifically take away from what's already there. If we wanted to keep that 50 by 10, what are we willing to lose for a utility room, right? So we're going to look at those different options and see where we go from there. But I think council is kind of on the same page of wanting to. They want to have both in front of them before they can make a decision. It's based on what I got from the last council meeting.
So you said you only had to remove 1 toilet?
Mm-hmm. So in the packet,
And that's what you're getting information on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The 1 toilet, 1 regular toilet and sink, and the 2 showers on the right.
Yeah.
So this whole building right here was about 60 to 70 feet wide. So because we were getting really close to that outdoor pavilion, I kind of shrunk it. So we took away those 2 showers on the right, and we took away 1 of just the regular sinks and toilets. And that got us to about 48 feet by 10. So 50 feet by 10. And then we swapped sinks and toilets on the right still with the family restroom in the middle, and then shower changing rooms on the left, closer to those outdoor showers.
Okay. That's cool. What do you think?
And I can pull up what I sent LPA so that way we can see. So this is the updated floor plan that I had sent LPA. So you have your outdoor showers and stalls. Again, very simple, just a shower head, 5 by 5 stalls, 2 of them. Shower changing rooms, 10 by 5, the 3 matching identical. The 10 by 12 family restroom, sink, toilet, and shower, and then 2 sink toilet restrooms on the far right, 10 by 8s. And I think that right there is 48 by 10. though. I'm sorry, I'm not a designer, but I wish I could design something a little bit better. But
No, that's
that's kind of what I sent to them. It matches similar to what they originally scoped in terms of the
The
footprint.
footprint, yeah.
It's just kind of reorganizing and trying to add some more in there.
Could you send this to us?
Mhm. I sure can.
That way Ally can see it too. So are you just trying to get more of like, how much does it cost, or are you actually going to get more of a designed plan
So
from your
what I'm trying to get between now and my council meeting on the 24th is what the estimated design build, what it would take for either LPA or Frontera to do both design and build, both options. And if they both come in at the same, to me, it would make more sense. Just go with the one that has the more, and that was recommended by the Parks Board. Now, if the other restroom comes in, let's say with a couple $1,000s cheaper, again, it's also, if we're still under budget, just go with the one that was recommended by Parks Board.
There's two contractors, LPA and
LPA is our design. They're the design firm that did the community center, and they're also the ones that did the plans for the community center and the original building. And then Frontera is the one doing the construction aspect.
Do you have anything else?
I'm just playing it out in my head.
So I'll show you one other thing. So this is what I originally sent to LPA and Frontera just to kind of get them thinking and putting their heads together. So again, here is the original floor plan up on top, and then I just grayed out those two options. So those grayed out options, we removed them just to kind of fit into that constraint. But basically, our sinks and toilets right here is a eight by 7 restroom right here. So if we have them, 10 by 5 or 10 by 8, we'll have plenty of room to follow that floor plan. And then over here is just obviously that's just a shed, but using that type of maybe structure to just match it all the way across, maybe not siding, but maybe a metal frame with the siding and then some rock on the bottom, same type of roof style, metal roof, just pitching to the back. Again, what I told council and both LPA and Frontera is we're looking more for function and simplicity. We don't want anything like super fancy because then I don't have the staff to upkeep it, right? So if we just keep it nice and simple but functional, then I think it would be easier to help maintain.
do you need a ramp?
I'm sorry?
Do you need a ramp?
No, it would be at the same level as the current concrete that's there.
No, the reason why I asked is you ain't got the grab bar, so.
Yeah, I think for all ADA restrooms, they require a grab bar.
And it just needs to kind of match because you'll see the building right
Mhm.
at the road.
Mhm.
That's,
Correct. So with the colors, we would try to match
Okay.
to the current building. That's why I'm saying keep that silver metal roof, keep the same color, maybe a different building material, but keep the same exterior color. The rocks, try to match what's already there at the pool. We have a lot of rocks already there. So just kind of matching and keeping with everything that's already going on at the pool and park.
I do have a question now that I've thought about it.
Yes.
About the showers.
Mhm.
So if we go back to what you'd sent out with the showers, where it had the 10 by 5 dimensions in it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So on the one with the shower and changing rooms,
Mhm.
so that's 10 feet deep and 5 feet across, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it seems like we could increase, instead of having like an individual shower and changing room to where like one person is going in and like they have the whole shower and they have the whole changing area. It seems like it would be possible to kind of split that to where you've got a 5 by 5 action happening, to where you can put, instead of having 3 shower heads in
Mhm.
different rooms,
Mhm.
potentially getting 5 shower heads in there, and then that changing room, moving that down to the bottom 5 feet and just having a bench that goes all the way across. So that way you can have people who can change while others are showering, and just putting up a small privacy thing in between each one of the shower heads seems like we could go from, 3 shower heads to 5.
So you're thinking, I kind of lost you. So you're thinking of splitting this in half.
If you think about like the old pool house, right?
Mhm.
There were the showers, there were the toilets, and then you had this bench that ran
Mhm.
along the wall, right? Which, I mean, that was effectively your changing area. And while I could certainly understand, someone wanting to have privacy, like while they were showering, when it comes to changing, oftentimes really, I don't think the same kind of privacy is necessarily required, especially if there's younger kids and they're just, putting their swim trunks on or off, and they don't need to have a 10 by 5 enclosed area to do that. So it seems like we could open up the opportunity for people to change and get in and out, and increase the number of shower heads that we have.
You might have to sketch this down for me because I'm still a little lost because I don't see. So you're saying basically these 10 by 5s would get split in half and you'd have 5 by 5, 5 by 5.
Not really 5 by 5, but you would have something like shower head, 5 feet across, shower head, 5 feet between. Great.
But we only have 15. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
all
saying
right.
30 feet there.
Okay, all right. So on this one, even so, if we just drop it down there, right, have a shower head.
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then have a bench on the other side of it.
The biggest thing is going to be space because you're still one shower head too big. So right here with these 3 shower changing rooms, we have 15 feet. In your schematic, you've got 20 feet. So something's going to have to give.
Instead of every 5 feet, have a shower head every.
You're going to need 3. I think ADA is at least a 3 by 3. I'll have to double check, but we could get away with maybe 3 by 3 stalls, I guess, for shower heads. I don't know.
Are we required to have a stall, or can you just have a privacy partition?
That's what I would be. It's just like
so
those
we're not
plastic,
talking
the
about
hardy
anything-
plastic.
Yeah.
Yes, something
Okay.
very thin, like half an inch to an inch thick. I don't know how I feel about having just benches on the side for changing, but that would be a board.
What would be the concern about having a bench for changing? Because someone could go into the kind of shower area, or they could wait to use a sink toilet area if they just wanted to change. It seems like
Yeah.
that would address some privacy issues.
Yeah, I don't know. I know how I know how the men's side was, and you're right. They did have a single changing bench with nothing to kind of break that up. The women's side did have some type of privacy on one side, and then they had the bench on the other side. So I guess it would really be up to the board on if they wanted to change this floor plan to see what. And I guess let me kind of show y'all what Nicole is talking about. So basically we would
You'd have 2 stalls.
I would think so. I
Separate
would
stalls.
think that you can have to, because you'd probably have to split it out in between. You probably have to gender it,
Yeah.
right? But even with gendering it, no one is worse off than they were before.
So if we were to get rid of, Let me try to put a white line over all this stuff. If we were to get rid of, again, Nicole, kind of, you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. But if we were to get rid of, let's see. Okay, so if we were to get rid of the individuals, right, you would still look at having like a gender male female side, or are you looking to just have basically shower heads on this north wall, 5 shower heads, and then almost like let's see, maybe have like a bench or something on this side?
Well, I'm guessing the bench would be inside of that 10-foot area. But yeah, if you like, move that up
Yes.
yeah. So if you move that up there, and then in my head, the way that it plays out is that you could have 4 of those showers, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. You could have 3 of those showers in. Let's be real sexist about it. Let's put 3 of those showers for the women,
Okay.
right? And then 2 of the showers for the guys. They both get a bench. And then, you have those little small privacy things in between. I mean, I'm ambivalent about that particularly, but I understand that it's something that people like and feel more comfortable with. But yeah, so 3 little showers, and then also too, and not for nothing, I feel like the smaller the shower is, the quicker people will get in and out of it.
Sure.
So, which especially if there's going to be more programming at the pool, especially now that the community center is going to be up and running and people are aware that the pool is open, probably just going to have more bodies in general. I think this helps prepare a little bit better for that. Because this is the space that we have, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
something like this is what you're kind of looking at is,
doors.
yeah. So we got your 2 doors, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I got 6 in here, so I can figure that out. But basically, 3 showers on the women's side and 2 showers on the men's side, with just a common bench in the middle for people to change on.
yes,
With a wall.
being a division.
Yes, there's a
between
wall.
men's and
Yeah,
women's.
yeah. There's a wall
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Did you- okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, you could potentially shrink the family a smidge.
Yeah, and I mean,
But I guess there's no utility room still, so we're
yeah.
I don't.
In the toilet space, I mean, 10 by 8. I think the family shower, that the more space that you can have in there, I feel like the better. But the sink and toilet, I mean, 10 by 8 seems reasonable, but it seems like if there was a small utility room, that maybe there could be some give in that space.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about having a utility room, only because we can figure out. We can work with the plumber to figure out how to get those on-demand water heaters
yeah.
for the showers and the sinks. I'm not too worried about that. The space for having the cleaning supplies and stuff like that, I mean, the community center is just down a hop, skip away. Staff can walk a broom or something like that. The other thing too is we can always add in, like a locker or something on the side, that's lockable, and you can just hang your stuff in there. I mean, same thing with, the supplies, where the toilet paper and all that could also be stored in there too. So, personally, I'm not too fond about this updated floor plan, but again, it's up to the board. I would like for you all to let me know if this is something you want me to try to send back to LPA and Frontera to design. Um,
I guess it's easy to put lines there. I don't know. How much space do you really feel comfortable in? Like, how close do you want to be to
Yeah.
ready shower?
yeah, because
I don't know.
the shower stalls.
You've been in more spaces than I have for this.
I'm pretty sure the shower stalls were bigger than a 5x5 in the old building, and they were pretty tight. So, it's really up to the board.
So what size are you saying the shower stalls would be now if you did this?
I would say about a 3x3, 3x5, somewhere along there.
People are bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. I would say that your shower stalls in the old building were probably about 3x3, 2x3, somewhere in that ballpark. And there were 2 on the men's side and 2 on the women's side. So
Why don't you go 2 and 2, 4?
we could do that.
Well, but I think one of the issues that is trying to be addressed is if more people are going to use the facility, then we actually have to have the facilities for them, and also a question of who's using it. So if 3 feet is cringeworthy, then I understand that, and by all means, just say no. But to my mind, you can get a lot of swim lesson kids to get their token shower from the outdoor showers, or to go in there and do that. You can get swim team kids from the high school in and out to where they can at least, leave without having to drive half an hour to get home and take a shower. And for folks that want something, and they need a bigger space, or they want a bigger space, oftentimes, whether it's during fitness swim or whether it's during a different program swim time, that family shower is, that whole 10 by 12 area, that's going to be open for them because there shouldn't be families during that time. So,
Jonah, why don't you work up a plan for this to let us see what it would really look like? Not that you don't need to do any more.
I can. We're pretty pressed, and I don't want to shy away from, not a good idea, but we're pretty pressed for, wanting to try to get this building, built,
Right.
What do you
within this season.
in this year? Yeah.
In this year, it can definitely be built within this year. It's just a matter of, one, how much is it going to, not necessarily how much is it going to take, but like space wise, are we going to be having to block off or fence off some of that top area, because of this construction, or are they able to kind of stay in that realm of the project? So yeah.
but at the very least, this addresses what City Council asked you to do, right? So at least you can check that off the list.
I think this adds another aspect of what City Council asked me to do. This is a whole nother floor plan. So, this floor plan is going to have to be brought back to the board and see if this is what y'all want, because the board did approve the original floor plan, with the caveat that if we needed to nix some things, we could nix some things. So, yeah, it's up to the board on if y'all want to for me to try to run this down and see what we can do.
So otherwise, we have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3.
Just kind of historically, when for swim lessons, it was very rarely that we had, individuals taking a shower and changing. They were looking more to just change and go. That was the primary case for the daycares that would come. They would just change and go. So yeah, I can see having more bench space. But then again, how many kiddos is it going to fit in the shower changing? And again, they can use all of these spaces on here other than the outdoor showers to change, in addition to the two bathrooms that are connected to the community center. So there's maybe a handful of fitness swimmers that like to shower and change before leaving. Others would come ready to go, rinse off, and then get in the water, and they would go in their trunks home. So the high school don't recall if they changed at the pool before they went back to the school, but I want to say that they stayed in their suits and then changed at the school. And it may have been because we had a lack of space, but I think they started when we had the old pool building. So there were both options. But yeah.
So Adriana, what do you want to do so we can move on?
Yeah, I was thinking of just probably just to leave it as it is. More privacy might be useful, and like you said, we have other facilities around or around the pool deck. Are there going to be benches in the changing room?
Yes. Yeah, they would have some type of bench
Oh,
or seat or something
bench.
that they can change on.
I think it's important to get this building up. Like it's
Mhm.
pretty cool that it's even in consideration. I think I wasn't seeing this being done this year, so
Yeah, I'm very surprised, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy too. I'm glad council is pushing for this, and they back it as well. So, okay, short and sweet. I'll send the updated floor plan to the whole board so that way y'all guys can review one last time, and then I'll also, when getting those estimates on design build options for both, I'll make sure to send those to you all as well so you can give input if anything. I'll still look into utility room options and then the water heaters. Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you. All right, well, you're not quite done. 5C, discussion and take appropriate action. There's probably not going to be any action. I just kind of wanted to go over the Lions Park grant, but I know it's probably in your update, so I don't know if you want to save that till then. I don't think there's any action.
No, I can touch on it now if you'd like.
Well, we could wait until that because
Yeah, there's really no action that needs to. It's more of just an
I'll just
update.
wait then. So we'll skip C. Number 60 is discussion and appropriate action on recommending that City Council explore options to find land and funding for the multi-sports complex for youth. So I didn't put that part. I was going over some words for a recommendation. So I have something scripted up if you'd like me to read it. I think based on, I'm sure that friends have talked about this a lot more too, about there's a lot of people in the park for soccer, and I'm sure these programs and the baseball program wants to grow.
They are growing.
It's not going to stop, right? So
No.
as soon as those other subdivisions come online, so to speak. So I can read this if you want to see if this is something, because it's been in the Parks Master Plan for several years already, to find something like this. Like it's one of the recommendations. The Castroville Parks and Recreation Advisory Board recommends that council form a committee to find funding and/or land for a youth sports complex east of the Medina River, as is already outlined in the Parks Master Plan on page 23. More effort is required currently because of the growing population and demand for youth sports. The city doesn't have enough space or amenities to support youth sports to the fullest extent in both the regional park and Lions Park. The Parks Board wants to see youth sports continue to grow in the region. If you like that, we can make that recommendation and send it their way.
Sounds good.
I think it was east of the Medina River. Should it be more than just that location? Or it's very flat over there, so that'd be pretty easy to construct something, but I didn't know if.
That's really the board's decision on whether you would want to limit your recommendation to that area. Obviously, east of the river is where the overwhelming majority of the city's growth is happening, for most of you. Yourself to somewhere outside of city limits to the west.
So does it have to, do you think
I
it
don't
needs to
think you
be?
necessarily have to tie yourself to the
Yeah.
east of the river, but I think that's probably where anything like this would happen. Gut feeling.
Yes.
Might put words to that effect and what you send forward, in terms of accessibility. The majority of people or the people that access.
Good point.
And it's not, I think I heard you say land, perhaps you might consider location, okay? Because there's other factors involved there, such as the accessibility, the topography, vehicle access, traffic, these other sorts of things. So perhaps consider using the word location, and that would include land and these other things as well. Maybe something to consider.
Okay.
I would also, if you're moving for council to establish a committee, maybe have some type of, this is who we would recommend. Maybe somebody from a development or developer, or somebody from Parks Board, and anybody on city staff as well, just so that way they at least have, and somebody from city council, that way they have at least something to start, instead of just saying who's going to be on the committee. Well,
Right.
they already have some
Have a
recommend.
realtor for sure.
Mm.
You had mentioned school district, I think, maybe,
Somebody, yeah.
or school board.
Partnering.
Maybe.
Hmm.
So does it need to be a city-owned property? Is that, or, I don't, maybe that's not even my decision. I mean, I have no idea. So
Yeah. I don't think it would have to be, but I mean, if
do
you're recommending to city council to explore those options.
Because we don't have that much that's large enough.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some land, but nothing that big.
No.
Not that close to the airport.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So,
Oh, I guess, is this kind of sports complex something that the city wants to build and maintain? Like, or does it become something else? So I'm not even sure what the options are. I'm just,
yeah, I would say
I don't
recommend
even
this.
know if that
Yeah.
kind of language goes in here.
I would say recommend it to council and see what council says. Just because who knows what council will say. Because if we are to explore this, I mean, down in the park, we have what, 10, 15 acres of property that we have to maintain just for soccer. We don't maintain.
I don't even think it's 15. Yeah.
So let's say 10. If we do 10 acres plus however many acres over here at the airport, which I think is another 10, 15 acres,
For the
baseball fields, that's at least 20 acres, so they would need to find something of that sort. And then if we do that, who's going to maintain it? I don't have the staff to maintain it right now, so we would,
maintain it.
we would-
The soccer people and the baseball people to maintain it.
Mhm.
That would be part of the deal in leasing it.
yeah. Oh,
I mean, good thought.
it is a thought. Yeah. So, and then that would also be an option too on that committee, maybe trying to get that soccer and baseball group involved too, to where, what do you all need and who's going to maintain it? If it's city owned, does a city contract out the maintenance to somebody, or if they're going to rent it from the city, they're responsible for maintaining what they need to? It opens up a whole can of worms. But yeah, I would say let's just send it to council and see what they say. And then that way they might send it back and say, okay, we'll get that committee going, but here are the questions that we have.
It needs to be done to where they maintain it, because that wasn't thought of before. We had the land and they leased it, and that was good, but it was small.
Mhm.
and now it's just gotten out of proportion.
Mhm.
And they've gotten a good deal,
Yeah.
but we need to think
Any other
for the
comments?
future.
Do you have any? Okay. Well, I can take these comments and update it. I don't know. Do you want me to? Y'all want me to bring it back before we make it final with these edits?
You could just text it to us, and so that we can go ahead and present it. The sooner we present it to council, the better it would be.
Yeah. I would recommend that somebody make a motion that y'all accept or move with Adriana's original plus adding in the discussed language and then send it to council.
I made it.
I would second that.
All in favor?
I
That was 6. The last action item is discussion and appropriate action on changing the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting day. I think there's been a couple instances in maybe the past 6 months of us trying to get stuff to council and we get pushed back into the later month and then everything is delayed to do business. So I had texted y'all some dates to consider and there was Mondays are open, the first Wednesday is open, and the second Thursday is open for this room that we can use. The only thing is that the library meets on the second Thursday as well, so you wouldn't be able to.
Well, if we
attend
did Monday, then we could, if it was a council type thing, we'd be able to get it. I mean, we
You-
wouldn't get it in that council meeting,
Yeah.
but we'd be able to get it in.
Yeah, so a little bit of backstory, sorry, real quick,
I
is
was just gonna offer to give Paula.
yeah, maybe if you then I would let the council liaison do that.
Sure. David Mers Jr., District 4 council member. So there was a legislative change this past year that instead of getting our agendas out 3 days before the council meeting, we have to get them out 3 business days before the council meeting. And what that means is now the last opportunity to put items on a council agenda is the Wednesday before at close of business. It has to be posted at close of business.
Correct. And
So that it's up all Thursday, all Friday, all Monday.
real
and-
quick, sorry. The agenda items actually have to get presented to mayor prior to that Wednesday. So I think at least for this meeting on the 24th, we'll use as an example. I think mayor reviewed the agenda on Monday. So all of staff's information had, not necessarily the backup, but just the agenda items had to get posted onto the software that we use for Mayor and Scott to review Monday morning or Monday afternoon. The agenda, I believe, is getting posted this evening, and then the packets go out on Friday.
So right now, your meetings are on the third Wednesday of every month, which means they start 2 hours after the agenda for the second council meeting went out.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we're, a week ahead of that council meeting, any action you take to put a recommendation before city council has a bare minimum of 3 weeks before council will see it, sometimes 4, depending on how the calendar falls.
Yeah.
That's why I recommended to Adriana to discuss moving your date that you meet, because if you could get it even earlier in this week, then you could get it on the next council agenda instead of having to wait almost a month after you said stuff.
Yeah. So moving it up either before the first meeting, the first council meeting, or even the same week of that first council meeting would allow us or the board to have whatever items are discussed in that month get put onto that same month's agenda on the second Tuesdays. Just because if not, like anything, let's say we were to discuss that floor plan is not going to go back to council till the first meeting in April. And even then, we already wanted to have started, let's just say bid process or something like that. So having these meetings moved earlier in the month helps staff get the items that are discussed at these board meetings presented to council within that same month, if it's something that's time sensitive.
Thank you for discussing that because I had forgotten that part. I was like feeling this tension
Mhm.
of trying to get stuff, and
So
I think we're the latest board to meet in the month anyway.
I think so. So kind of also, it's even difficult for like myself right now. We had a council meeting last week And some of these items, council wants to discuss them again next week. So getting the turnaround, of some of these design build estimates, or so like the September Square Memorial, trying to get all that stuff in within a week and a half can be a little difficult. So having that extra time might help benefit the board and some of the items that are discussed.
So what day would you suggest?
Anything. I would say try to get either before or the same week of the first council meeting, because then if it's the same week as the council meeting, that second Tuesday of every month, then I can match it and we can get that ball rolling from there. I'll have at least a week to get the information in. If it's before that first meeting of the month, then that's even better.
Yeah. So I had talked to Deborah and she said that we had the first Wednesday option or the second Thursday, although the library meets that same night. And then I think Mondays are open. Allie said Mondays weren't good for her, but we have other people here, so. The other thing we have to consider is that if we decide to move to first Wednesday or something like that, we're going to be meeting again in 2 weeks just to maybe reset. Otherwise, we're going to be 6 weeks away.
Let's do that.
So you're
we-
talking about 2 meetings a month?
No,
No.
it'd just be one meeting, but to restart, I think we'd have to start. For example, if we pick the first Wednesday, we would be meeting on April the 1st, which is in 2 weeks, and we would just do a quick meeting.
Mhm.
Like, we're here. That way we can just get on this new cycle. So it would be a weird catch-up month.
I would offer that if you move to the first Wednesday, you're going to kind of have the exact same problem you have with the third Wednesday. You'll be exactly a week out from the council meeting, which means you can't get it.
You can't get
The agendas for the first council meeting, which is on the second Tuesday,
Mhm.
have to go out on the first Wednesday.
Correct.
So
But
exactly a week out from a council meeting is kind of the worst possible time for sending stuff back and forth.
yeah. However, we would have plenty of time to get it onto the second meeting of the month, which might be a little bit better because then it would give us more time to get the packets or get any support information that we want before council, which is what I would try to do, unless it's something that's absolutely time sensitive. And I know that the board wants it to be put onto that first meeting of the month. I would put it onto the agenda anyway, because mayor can pull it, or during their meeting they can pull it off of the agenda anyway. So let's just say if we were to have something that first Wednesday, we would have plenty of time to put it onto the second Tuesday's meeting for council. If we were like constrained by something or we wanted something to be put onto the first meeting, I would plan ahead and just try to put it onto their agenda pending the board's approval. So
I think too, the problem with Mondays is that there's lots of holidays.
there
So
are.
it's probably not an ideal day, actually. Like Columbus Day or
Sure.
Labor Day and stuff like that.
Well, do you need a motion?
We do need a motion to pick a day. So I'd either pick that Wednesday or Thursday that this room is available.
Okay, I make a motion that we change our day to the first Wednesday of the month instead of the third.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, I guess you're not too affected. I guess.
I'm always affected. I'm sensitive.
Do you want to?
That
vote
sounds
in
great to me.
favor?
That sounds great to me. Yes.
Thank you. So if we have anything for our next meeting, April 1st, let's get it in now so I can submit that to Deborah, and we'll let Deborah know as well.
So we have, like I said, we have 2 weeks, so we'd have to plan the agenda for by next Wednesday.
Mhm.
And I think it would be like, hi.
Yeah.
Like we can just,
I mean, the other option is if we don't want to meet, but I know we're going to discuss later on for a future agenda item or future meeting. So it's up to the board if we want to meet April 1st.
well, yeah, I guess we don't have to meet. It's,
If we don't have anything we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So-
No.
We'll touch it on the general updates thing.
All right. Thank you all very much for that part. And I don't know, did you want to give any updates about the funds or?
Just to remind people that Friday is the pop-up dinner down at the regional park at 6 o'clock. It's the annual meeting and hope everybody can come. It'd be nice if all the park group would come. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll set a reminder to see if we can put something online too for that, so people know.
That would be nice.
And then we're on 7B, update from the Parks and Rec director.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of skip out of this real quick, just because we're gonna touch on Lions Park and the packet is set up that way. So if y'all are okay with that, I'm gonna address Lions Park. So there was just a quick update with council. Council reassured me that they did indeed set aside that money for Lions Park and the grant match funds. So that is set aside. But just real quick, just to refresh everybody's memory, project location is going to be, the address is 1101 Houston Street, Lions Park. Focus areas is accessibility enhancements, long-term park sustainability, and increased community use. Features, all-inclusive play structure with incorporated shade, and then also a swing set with incorporated shade, which is not pictured here. But this is what we presented to TPWD, or what was in our packets for consideration. Here's a bird's eye view of it. You can see this is the ramp coming in. This is all ramps. You do have a couple of stairs. This here is a caterpillar climber. There are, I don't know what this is exactly, but it branches off. I don't think that would consider, I'm sorry?
Is it like a tube?
Yeah, it might be. It looks like it's kind of like a walking path or something. There's some stairs on this backside. So the main portion here where this gray, or I'm sorry, the brown, thick, that's all ramps. So that's all going to be accessible. Here's going to be another bird's eye view location wise at Lions Park. Excuse me, approximately 100 by 60 feet. And then also on the north side of this is that swing set with shade. 2 bays, 4 swings total, and then there would be a canopy on top of that. This is just a example of a project timeline. So August of 2025, we submitted the grant. We were awarded from the commission January of 2026. We have some compliance tasks, possibly have compliance tasks October of 2026. Permitting May of 2027, bidding June of 2027, mobilization in August, construction start in September, construction ends in February of 2028, and then open to the public March of 2028, grant closeout of March of 2028. This is just very broad, just because if we want to adjust or we need to adjust to it, we have that ability to. So this is not set in stone. And based on TPWD's website, we're supposed to have a site visit between now and the end of the month. A pre-agreement is supposed to come out sometime in April of 2026. Grant agreements are issued August through October of 2026. And then we have from the signing of that grant agreement, we have 4 years to complete that project. So whether we complete it in a year, 2 years, a year and a half is all going to be dependent on how quick we can get some of these compliance, the permitting, bidding, and all that out. Impact and alignment, community impact. So it enhances recreational quality of life, expands inclusive and accessible park features, supports families, youth sports and events. Economic impact, it improves Lions Park as a destination asset, supports tourism and local business activity, leveraging outside funding instead of solely relying on local tax dollars. The project aligns with the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, Capital Improvement Plan priorities, and long-term community growth. And that's pretty much it. Some takeaways that I did get from council, they wanted me to research the overall sustainability of the play structure itself, getting reviews and references from the company that we've used, which is Cunningham Recreation or Game Time. Comparisons, so getting other comparisons or getting other companies what comparable products they have. How easy is it to get part replacements? And then Councilman Lee his term was frills, trying to cut out some frills. So I think what he was referring to are going to be those color panels there. So I understand his concern. We definitely want to make sure that we keep costs low. I've already reached out to Cunningham Recreation. I actually had a meeting with them prior to the council meeting, and these color panels can actually be switched with small shade structures. So that might be an option that we could look at, especially because there's not a whole lot of shade over there at Lions Park. The other thing is that these, I'm going to say frills. These frills or color panels, right? They create shade in a sense. You know, they do create the color panels on the ground, but they're kind of twofold. They create that color aspect and play, you know, on the ground for people who might have mobility issues and they can't get up on the platforms and stuff. But they also do create some shade. So I'll kind of look into that and see where that all lands. But those were some of the takeaways from council on what they wanted me to look into.
What kind of warranty do they have on this equipment?
I'll have to look and see, but you know, some of the information. What did So they have Cunningham Recreation has a really good warranty, and I want to say that a lot of their play equipment lasts 10+ years. So
Is it in writing?
the warranty will be for sure.
Okay. 'Cause I
But some
think
stuff
of
is going to
Lions
be,
Park and the splash pad.
yeah. But that was pretty much all I had for the Lions Park update. Any questions? Good. All right. Once I start getting some more information from TPWD, I'll definitely share.
Location compared to the splash pad
Mhm.
and baseball field.
Just to the east. So if we're looking, I'm sorry, just to the west of the splash pad. So if you look here, you have the splash pad right here on the right. You have the well, the utility well over here. Over here is what is it? Athens, I think.
Yeah.
Athens Street that runs this way, and then you have the softball field over here to the right on the east side. All right. So February 2026 report, community center construction still underway. Overall, the project is 73% complete. I think my last update to you all in council, the project was at 53% complete. So they've definitely picked up the pace. If you haven't gone by, I definitely would go by and take a look at it. It's a really, really nice building. It's definitely shaping together. Some of the completed projects this past month include the front porch framing, stucco, and roofing. In addition to that, we do have the low voltage company in there. So they're starting to run their wires for all of the access points, door controls, monitoring systems. So that's good news. Splash pad, just real briefly, the sewer line has been repaired. We're waiting on some parts for the main water line. We just got those in today, so we should get that finished up. In addition to that, there was a control valve that was cracked, maybe in the freeze. So we're going to have to replace that control valve. Other than that, everything else is pretty much plumbed in with the exception of 3 pipes. So we'll get that hopefully by the end of this week, finished, plumbed in and going. BMA agreement. So I went up and I talked to BMA. They showed me the 2 access gates that are used along the property on the north and south side of the property. They're pretty much in disrepair. I don't think there's any way for us to use any of the material that's out there. One gate doesn't look like it's been closed in probably 10+ years. The other one is in good condition, but I think a lot of the material there is just it's eroding away. So I did reach out to one contractor and I got that quote back and it was over budget. So I'm going to make sure that we reach out to at least 3 more just to kind of see. And if we are over budget on that part, maybe Parks can just absorb that portion. I think we were budgeted $15,000 for gate installations, material, and signs along the BMA canal. Just the gate alone at that quote was almost $16,000. So we're going to kind of shop around and see what we can do. I already did the grant update on Texas Parks and Wildlife. I think the biggest thing
Is the BMA is okay with us using the trail right now.
Yes,
We're
just because we have something,
You
work
got
in
a
progress.
contract?
We don't have a contract yet. Council approved an agreement with them. I want to get these quotes first before I go back to BMA and before we start that installation process and see, because one of the biggest changes that council said was if we can have the first contract be, I think it was a 5-year contract, and then after that be yearly, just to make sure that we protect what we put in. So once I have all those quotes and we decide on somebody, then I'll go back to BMA and make sure that we're fine with all of that. The Texas Parks and Wildlife grant update. So I think the biggest thing is just they're waiting for funding to officially kick off. Once funding gets kicked off on their side, then I think we'll get that ball rolling for Lions Park grant. CIP projects, we already discussed those. Parks and Recreation got 3 CIP projects. That was going to be Lions Park, the parking lots at Regional Park, and then the shower restroom building at the pool. Budget planning for fiscal year 26-27. Excuse me. Budget planning process is starting up again. Here are some of the items that I plan to increase funding for. Adding a flag replacement line item. Currently, we don't have a flag replacement specific line item, so my regular buildings and grounds or grounds maintenance budget takes that hit, and surprising flags can get pretty expensive, especially if they're custom. So trying to make sure we kind of itemize those out will really help the budget. An Easter event line item. So right now we have a special activities line item. So just moving some of the monies that are in our special activities to Easter, so that way they know exactly where that stuff is coming from, and we can budget for that, and we can grow that program if we want to. Increase our equipment repairs and maintenance budget, adding a raw materials line item, mulch, granite, fall surface, etc. We were, again, I think we need to consider all of those assets, and we need to make sure that we plan accordingly, because some of the trail at Regional Park, majority of the trail is in disrepair because we don't have the funds, or the monies to buy crushed granite to put out there. So making sure that we try to plan for that yearly. I'm not saying we need to put a fresh coat of crushed granite around the whole park, but at least, staging it out or planning it out in stages would really help make sure that we keep that trail in good condition. Increasing our buildings repairs and maintenance for the Parks and Recreation Department. So accounting for the north restroom remodel, so whatever that cost is, making sure that we try to put that in there for this upcoming budget. Increasing the RV park building repairs and maintenance to account for some renovations in the restroom. We've gotten some feedback from residents that the restrooms, need to be updated. And I agree. The showers need to get some new tile. Maybe we can paint some of the inside, put some fans in there just to kind of get the air flowing, get rid of the plywood doors and put some type of like hardy plastic, just to kind of liven up that restroom. Increase pool building repairs and maintenance to account for heater covers. So trying to install heater covers over, we already have the pad and we have the heaters, so just putting a cover over that. In addition to that, because we are operating with 2 newer heaters and 1 older heater, also replacing that older heater, so that way we have 3 new heaters that are all operating properly. Programs and events. Medina River Riparian Restoration Project was completed. They were actually out there today. Mary Michael was out there today, and her and Patrick were doing some work out there. So I think they're pretty much done. We did find some areas that water was penetrating the mulch and some of the muley. So we're going to have to come in and put some type of, not a bar ditch, a berm behind it, so that way that water gets captured and it doesn't continue to wash away some of our picnic tables. So I'll work with Mary Michael, Patrick, and staff on getting those berms put up. Staffing is pretty much the same. Upcoming priorities and projects: tree replacement for the Garden of Roots and Lions Park, upcoming event prep for Easter weekend and the Tour de Castroville. Also, we have the Show Your Ride at Houston Square this weekend. And then we also have the Friends of the Castro Regional Park potluck on Friday. Pool hiring for all staff. So if you know anybody who wants to be a lifeguard or a swim coach, let them know to apply. Specifically, the swim coach, that season is coming around pretty quickly, and we have not had anybody apply for that position yet. Reservation report for February is all there. We've had 2 reservations for the amphitheater, 4 area rentals, 7 pavilion rentals, 14 table rentals, 44 RV park bookings, and 11 tent camping reservations. And then we have our work order reports, 97 for parks and 8 for facilities, total of 105 for the month. So just some of the pictures. So this is going to be the north side of the park. This is the gate along the BMA Canal. So as you can see, the gate is in pretty decent condition, but it's the material over here on the right. The opener is gone. Solar panel is gone. Some of these pipes are bent. So it's going to need a complete overhaul. New opener, keypads, and new gate would be what was quoted for this north gate. South gate, on the other hand, again, complete overhaul. And this is the one that I was telling you all probably hasn't been closed in over 10 plus years. I mean, it's completely fallen apart on the bottom. I think they just left it open because if they close it again, it was just going to break apart. So again, this fence, the gate itself would have to be repurchased. And then also same thing, the motor, solar panel, all of that, even this pipe, I think would have to be reinstalled. So this was not in my update, but at the last council meeting, there was some discussion about some of the trees on the back of Steinbach House. So last week I went out there and I trimmed up some of this. But if you can see, this got cleaned up a little bit. Same thing right here. This berm got cleaned up. I cleaned up a lot of the limbs that were going over this drainage canal. I'll probably leave some of these here just to kind of not make it look so bare, but it'll be up to council on if they want those removed or not. But again, here's another tree limb that was down. This was going over the neighbor. This was kind of on our side. So I removed that tree and limb, and you can see here that it's all cleaned up. The thought here behind Steinbach House. So if anybody has gone back behind Steinbach House, and I had not gone this far, but right over here at the end of this drainage, and I don't know if I should tell everybody this online, but there's a bad drop off right there. So making sure that we bring attention to visitors. Hey, don't go past this. Number one, there's no business back here. All right. So stay on this side, installing some type of like split rail fence or some type of fencing. So that way people know, hey, stop right here. But then also just kind of cleaning up this back area was really big. So we're planning on probably putting in split rail fencing right over here, parallel to this concrete, maybe like somewhere in this area, just kind of fencing off that back section. So that way people don't go back there. And if they do go back there, they've been warned, hey, there's a steep drop off or the property ends, so many feet back there. So
Priscilla's been concerned about that quite a bit.
Like I said, I had never been back there until Priscilla brought it up to me. And
it's dangerous.
If you're not paying attention, and a lot of people aren't, they're on their phones, they're looking at their phones. So if they're walking, it's probably about a 20-foot drop off right there. So, yeah.
My question about that is, given in that area, the way that the water comes down from the streets and the gullies that it's creating over there, if you put that fence in there, is there any kind of erosion control that's going to be a part of that? Because otherwise it doesn't seem like it's going to take very long before all of that resource and effort is going to be uprooted.
Yeah, so I probably need to get with Scott and council on seeing if there's any other erosion control that needs to get put in. But the split rail that we put in is very simple. You dig a hole, you put the post in there, and then you put the cross members. It's also very easy to pick up and replace because it's not cemented in. So I don't think that we would need any erosion control, but I can look into it and see because it's really kind of going along the back side of the property. And back here, we have a lot of stormwater systems coming in here. So we have this culvert here, this drain here. coming off the highway back over here on the right side of this top right picture, we also have some concrete drainage here, and then also closer to the dam we do. So I don't see an issue with erosion control back over here where the proposed fence is going to go. I definitely see some erosion control issues on this. If we're looking at Steinbach on the west side of the property, I definitely can see where that might be a concern. But yeah, let me look into it and see.
Which parking lot, this is kind of going back a little bit, which parking lot is going to be improved in Regional Park? Is it the lower one or the one up above the garden?
Hopefully both.
Okay.
I'm going to try to plan for both. And we can kind of see it here, but we call it the sports court parking lot. So a couple years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I think now, about half of it was chip sealed with partnership with the county. So we're going to try to chip seal or whatever comes in, whatever quote we can get. Ideally chip seal just to match it, chip seal the other half of that, and then also develop where the butterfly garden is, where Alsace and Lisbon connect, develop that parking lot and put something in there. Now, that area is going to be interesting because obviously we get a lot of water coming through there. So we'll need to make sure that we have the correct drainage. But I understand it that hillside where Lisbon kind of runs straight through was a dump or part of a dump in history's past. So my idea is to try to cut back that hill about 20 feet and install a retaining wall with those 3x5 butter sticks that we have throughout the parks, Lions Park and Regional Park. Put in a retaining wall there, so then that way we can have some more parking space there. And I'll bring up a bird's eye view so that way we can all kind of see what I'm talking about. But this here is one of the Martin houses that was installed, I think a week ago. Yeah, I think a week ago. It's awesome. I love it. It's cool. Whenever I was telling them, whenever they were first out here digging the hole for this, I told them when Patrick Connor was like, "Hey, the Martins are supposed to be here. Can you check on the houses?" And I was like, "I don't know who the Martins are. I've been here plenty of years, and I know who the Shearharts. I know Havies. I don't know who the Martins are." So he kind of gave me a little history lesson on who the Martins are. But the installation of a Mule Martin house by Area Number 1. Thank you to the master naturalists and the volunteers who volunteered their time and effort to install this house and the grant that allowed this project to happen. In addition to the installation of this house, they cleaned all of the Martin houses throughout the park. So they plan to come out here pretty regularly to just take notes, monitor, and then eventually replace all of the Martin houses throughout the park. Here's just a couple of updates. So we did some field marking at Lions Park. And then here, so these are pictures at the pool. So during our walkthrough with Texas Municipal League, our insurance company, they brought to our attention some of the toe breakers that are throughout our deck at the pool. So you can see here, the elevation change. It doesn't seem like a lot in this picture, but if you're dragging your feet or even boots or sandals, you're going to get caught on these. So we have a lot of these throughout the deck. So we are grinding these down, try to make them more smooth and level. And then you can kind of see that here in this next picture. I know it's two different perspectives, but you can tell, where you had that, or actually this, yeah, right over here is where we did it. But you can tell where, somebody actually came in before us and did it probably 10 plus years ago. But yeah, we're working on that at the pool. In addition to that, we're going to start taking down that 3-meter board so we can move the 1-meter board back into its proper position in the middle of the diving well. So that way that board can be up and operational for swimming.
And what's the kind of timeline expectation of once that's ground and leveled, of how long whomever is doing the work is confident that it is going to remain level?
So we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on it and see, because if we have major shift changes like this continue, there's definitely some type of sub foundation issue whether it's a pool leak, whether it's just the ground shifting. So I'm not confident. I could not tell you how long it would last. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of see it. We're gonna gauge it from now and use this as our starting point, and then reevaluate, as the season goes, or however long it'll take.
Foundations change when the drought is so.
Absolutely.
So you can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
Somebody can't come in and do this work and you'd say, okay, it's guaranteed.
Correct.
No. Because
Bet.
Hmm?
Bet.
I bet you can, because
I can talk to you about pool decks.
cement ones.
Here we go. No. Now would definitely not be the time. It's already in the works. It's already going through.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the plan with that. In addition to, I know we have a lot of grants going and a lot of projects going, so I definitely don't want to add to my plate. However, when I was at Texas Parks and Wildlife at their commission meeting, there are organizations that are getting, it seemed like, complete pool replacements. So that's something that I'm also going to start researching and seeing, just so that way, maybe in a year or two, once these other projects are completed and finished, we can look at replacing this pool and the deck and everything that goes with it. So, and I think that's all I have.
Right. Other questions? We'll do. Are you good?
I'm all good.
We'll figure out the next regular called meeting. April 1st would be our first option, but we could, I guess, delay till May if there's nothing really to discuss. And I think that's it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.